Oh, and look, I found a 9th character for the wave. I am Crazy Fish Chest. Give me kisses. Okay, people, today let's take a probably not so quick look at the Hasbro Marvel Legends Build-A-Figure Executioner wave. Oh, I went and did it again. I wasn't interested in every character in this series, but the Build-A-Figure got me. I would have definitely skipped on the Mark 72 Iron Man. I just no connection whatsoever. Warbow and Dark Avengers Spider-Man were low down on my maybe list. I was just never a Crystar kid, and as much as I like that figure, I would have waited for Warbow eventually down the line. One of those weeks where I wasn't buying anything. And then Spider-Man's neat. It's black and white. It's multi-armed, but it's also Dark Avengers. It's not really high on my list. Again, I probably would have waited for a light week or a couple of days. World War II Wolverine and even Werewolf by Night were higher up on that probably list. Yay, another Logan. But I love Wolverines. And it is a good look. Okay, in my time right now, I've already finished the intro and I'm opening the figures. I got to Wolverine and realized he doesn't come with an Executioner piece. I don't know why I thought he did. In fact, I'm used to the Iron Mans not having the piece. And when I saw Iron Man had the piece, I just automatically tricked myself into thinking, well, might as well order the whole wave. That's that Hasbro marketing working on me. Maybe on my outer layer, I was like, I don't need to buy the ones I don't truly need. But deep down inside, I knew it was Wolverine and thought, well, it's on the list. Whoop. Werewolf by Night is definitely needed on my shelf, but the more I looked at the promo pictures here, the more it's just kind of like, well, okay, it's a hairy guy in pants. I feel like I would have eventually got around to customizing one that I like better. But this does give me a head start on that. So, but Enchantress and Phantom Rider were on my definite list. Been needing an upgrade for Enchantress forever, and Phantom Rider feeds into my West Coast Avengers. He made other appearances in places, but that's where I remember him, and I love the WCA. So, there we go. But it was the Executioner that made me go ahead and just grab them all, because I couldn't wait. I'm getting Enchantress. I gotta build Skurge, right? And I like opening a whole wave at the same time. I couldn't handle just getting parts and pieces over several months and then having them to the side, and then I look over and... Okay, I'll do it. That, of course, means we're starting off with the Iron Man. Get him out of the way. Changed up the box design a little bit. There's a purple motif going on in the black. Marvel logo, Marvel Legends logo, Build-A-Figure Executioner. Warning, choking hazard, small parts. Don't choke on the oversized Marvel Legends head. I will admit, I kind of like this artwork for Iron Man on the side, but that doesn't mean I like him. On the back, a different look and then a short bio. Choose your player. On the other side, another look, some windows, some name, some logo. On the top, Marvel again. On bottom, legalese, barcode. Let's get this open, see what's going on here. And it's fairly interesting as far as Iron Mans go, mostly because of the color scheme. I know we've had figures of armors that incorporated the black, but this being so shoved into the middle of the golds and the reds, it throws me off. But I kind of like it the more I look at it. Not enough for me to actually use this somewhere unless I go read in the comics and fall in love with it. But I don't regret getting it, so far, at least. I do believe a lot of the sculpt is new. I don't recognize the banding to the arms or these chunky gauntlet armor pieces on the back of the wrists. These big, broad shoulder pads that do have a ring down around the shoulder peg. And that's where I realized there's some gray in the overall scheme, too. And lining the top of the forearm armor. The forearmor kicks in down at the shins, too, that look oversized as they come down over the foot, up to a more sleeker knee pad, thigh guard. That is a separate sculpt. Yep, that does a good job of hiding the thigh swivel. I like it when that happens. I do notice a sheen difference to the blacks from the arms and legs to the torso. And that's what usually happens with that heart, unless it's supposed to be a slightly grayer black. The ab piece is the only thing on here that makes me think reuse because of the design. Maybe a movie figure, but also because of the lack of any kind of articulation there. It feels old It feels like it's thrown in the middle of all these new pieces. Because then we get some extra detail to the chest piece. These blue dots, working up to the, I always want to say arc reactor, the unibeam. Is it still called a unibeam in the comics? Got some digital painting with the dots there. Fairly clean. I like how it looks like it's fading from darkness to brighter on the edge. Then we got kind of the band look that continues on. Maybe this is meant for this body because the lines do kind of kick into the torso. Kinda. They don't quite line up, but not terrible. Some sculpt work to the back. Almost looks like that should be blue, and maybe some paint work in here, but it's the back. Some banding on the neck, some red, some gold, some black, and then the face plate. That is very MCU-ish. But I am 99.98% sure that this is not reuse because of the way the head is shaped. The faceplate kind of juts out from the skull, or the helmet. I know, but it's kind of skull-like. Everything that's not faceplate feels a bit sunken in, like it's too narrow. And then you get down to the wideness of the shoulders and it comes off as kind of awkward. But then you get to the rest of the body and there's a sleekness until you get to the extremities. There's a thickness here and a thickness here. So yeah, not terrible. And what little I know about this, it's X-Men related. So maybe I will have to do some kind of deep dive or read some comics and see if I can shove it somewhere besides an Iron Man bin. Going over articulation, there is a dumbbell joint at the top of the neck with a ball down at the bottom. And I can already tell this isn't going to move much because of how far the bottom of the dumbbell is sunk into the neck. I don't have anything against dumbbells at the neck. They can be really great when implemented good. But as far as they sink that down, there's not a lot of up. And then most of the down is at the bottom of the neck, just shoving forward. Tilt's not bad. And then, of course, left, right. Shoulder pads rubbery, gets up and out of the way of the pin coming out to the arm, rotating around. You gotta kind of get the... Well, no, it's stuck. What happened there? Did I turn too fast? Did I jam it up? Keep going. There we go. If you keep the shoulder pad in the same spot, you can get the arm all the way around, or the body all the way around, depending on what you're turning. Hinge at the shoulder goes up past 90. Swivel at the bicep, right at the shoulder pad line, hides it nicely. Double elbow goes up all the way, dang. Swivel at the wrist with a hinge in and out for the fist. And, well, it doesn't go back because of this plate coming over it. Dumbbell joint mid-torso crunches a little, arcs back super far. I guess that's to compensate for not looking up. Tilt, rotation. Ball coming out to the hip goes up slightly past 90. Back, out. Let's see if we can get that plate to go in. Okay, to there. Hidden thigh swivel. Double knee. Oh, so close. Hinge at the ankle goes back, forward, runs right into that armor. Front-facing pin for rocker. For accessories out of the package, it comes with 2 fists. Gotta get around that armor plate to pull that out. And you can add in repulsor hands. And yes, there is a left. There's a hole in the palm. And there is wrist articulation. But that plate gets in the way of up. So you gotta kind of turn it and do it like that. And of course it's an Iron Man. It's got blast effects, the same ones we've been seeing for years, just in a slightly different color than what we're used to. We've had yellow, we've had red, we've had blue. This is clear with a little bit of blue at the end. And or then there's these. And I haven't actually tried this yet. Does the plates come off? Oh, I'm dumb. That comes off the back of the armor. And then this plugs in some like that. Nope, not like that. There's a left and right. Notice the offset hole. And this one doesn't match. This one matches. And I guess I could look at the letter too. Hey, there's an R. That means right or wrong. I'm from Arkansas. And that's neat. Some weapons popping out, and it's not the same old repulsor blast. There's a little hole in the end. Nope, no way that's fitting. I think this is from a recent Black Widow or something, and no, that's too big too. Either way, I like the look of this. It's different, but again, it's this Iron Man, so. That looks pretty tough though. Wide stance. It's the forearms that get me the most. But then the head, bleh. Next up, let's open Warbow, looking like a green apple Jolly Rancher with a thong for an eye patch. Same artwork on the back, and then a little background. Resisting urge to lick candy looking toy. Knowing nothing about this franchise, I just like the look of a faceted rock candy looking figure. And yes, this is almost complete reuse of Crystar. You can see that center of the chest design work underneath this bandolier. Same boots, same legs, same arms down to the glove line. Well, actually, is this just an overlay? That may be molded to it. This has a full forearm. Also has crystal hands instead of gloves. Same crotch pieces, different belts, because that's actually separate. Does that overlay down onto the... Yes. This one doesn't have that buckle on it, but it does have these two kind of triangles pointing left and right. This is the second time this month that I've made the turn signal indicator joke. Mention the bandolier. It is also new. I don't know what this is, if it has something to do with his weapon. Maybe it's flechettes for that, but it's got little diamond pointies and just banding. Awful dang thick design-wise, but it seems to work for this guy. Because then you get to the head, and what's not to love about some baldness? One of the weirder eye patches I've seen in a good long while, but hey, if it works, it works. It's got two strings going around until it connects there, and then it spreads out over his eye. And I'm not going to make the thong comment again. I'm not. But it's kind of unavoidable. I do like the white eye peering out from the other side, though. It's striking. And then a little lip color, the angles, when you catch the light right, to the jaw and the top of the head, which blends in with the rest of the body beautifully. In fact, you get some light behind it, and it looks even better. These two go together beautifully. Like they were meant for each other. Because they were meant for each other. I'm still more impressed with Crystar simply because of the weapons. And then Diamond. And then the helmet. Just being clear, you can see the clear head under the clear helmet. But I like the color scheme of this. Well, color scheme as in lots and lots of green. But the translucency gives it some depth. And then the light reflecting off is just magical. Crystar does that too. Well, he does it really well. Look at him, just sparkling in the light. Okay, I like it more than I thought, but I don't really have a Crystar shelf. So there is that. Basic Marvel Legends articulation. There is a ball at the top of the neck with a hinge underneath. A whole lot more up than Iron Man. Same with down. Not bad tilt either, actually. And then left, right. Pin at the shoulder, rotates around. Got to go out a little to miss the bandolier, but not too much. And then a hinge goes up to there. What is going... Oh, okay. Where the articulation stops, there's a ledge. And if you bring it up, it catches on the torso. So you got to push down and put it in there to get the arm up that far. Swivel at the bicep. Pinless double elbow that you can see. Look at that. Goes up to there. Swivel at the wrist with a hinge in and out. Tried and true ab crunch. Kicks forward. Kicks way back. Then there is a waist cut. Ball at the hip. Kicks forward. Back. Out. Oh. Better than some Spider-Man. Swivel at the thigh. Double knee. All boot catches. No boot swivel, although I think this is just plugged into the boot somewhere here, and then this is a rubber overlay that goes up to the knee. Hinge at the ankle, goes back, goes forward, front-facing pin for rocker. For accessories, out of the package, there is a left splayed-out hand and a fisty right. Then there are two grip hands that are obviously meant to hold something, and in this case, we have a crystal crossbow. I like the look of this, how it's kind of translucent looking, but the arrow is solid. And then this hoop on the back feels very vintagey. That also means you have to remove the hand before putting this on. In fact, we're going to put the grip on first. Said we're going to put the hand on first. Oh, turn, twist, and then plug it in. Ooh. That completes the look. And it doesn't get much more toyetic than that. You can also shoot from the hip. Not so much bringing it up because of the articulation and this bandolier, but it's not bad. And the sparkly still fascinates the hell out of me. Spider-Man, Spider-Man, doing whatever you can do with 6 arms. Boy, they picked some good pictures for the side. Once again, I look at this and think, okay, I'm happy with my purchase. And I haven't even got to the toy yet. On the back, a recognizable pose. I think I've seen that before, but it's nice to see it again. And then, just in case you want to know more. All right. Pretty cool so far. There is some concessions made to get 6 arms mounted on an action figure, but it's not as jarring as I was thinking. Especially from the front. It maintains the standard musculature. It may be extended slightly, but it's not off the wall. Get it? Wall crawler off the wall. I'm sorry. It's the back that'll make you gasp, because it had to jut out to give space for these back two arms. The lowest arms are just mounted into the torso, and then the upper ones are in the standard spot. And it's not too bad, especially with these arms being back here. If you turn the figure, it's like, do-do-do, oh, that's kind of cool. What? But it had to be done in order to maintain an articulation point in the torso, unlike the original 6-arm Spider-Man. I think I had one of these loose at one point, but it got customized because those arms can be used for other things. I ain't opening another one because it's not worth it. It's kind of a shitty figure. But at the time, I argued that you couldn't put an articulation point in here, especially the way that they mounted the arms. The pins for the arms were going in and blocking anything that could have went here. This gave them space. I also feel like the arms aren't as sunk as they could be, like they usually are in shoulders. But if they were the depth that they probably should be, again, it would block the articulation. At the moment, yeah, it looks like a dumbbell, so it's probably here and goes up in here and here. But these, in fact, let's move that. These are back here. So I'm glad they found a way to do it, because it makes for an interesting figure. It feels like there's a lot going on, which is not a bad thing, especially given the amount of regular Spider-Mans we have. Why not throw another one out there that is just, well, more spider-like? It's a very visual type thing that jumps out and grabs you, because the more you mess with it, the more it's kind of, oh, okay, there's this and this and this. But when it comes down to it, it's just the torso that's new. Everything else is reuse of the Secret Wars symbiote Spider-Man, which itself is reuse of the Amazing Fantasy 15 Spider-Man, just in a slightly duller plastic, which I kind of like. But same feet, same legs, same head, same arms. Arms. Different spider logo. But again, this is a different character. It's just there. That's, you know, classic. This is more elongated, and it's painted fairly clean. It breaks with the articulation, but that's what articulation does. It's plastic. Still not my favorite Spider-Man ever, but again, it throws something different at the shelf or display. Picture. Tub. Articulation, there is a ball at the top of the neck with a hinge underneath. Up and down. Not a whole lot of tilt. Just kind of looks left and right. No butterflies either. Hey, there's a torso joint. You can't throw everything in here. It's just not physically possible. But there's a pin going out to the arm, can rotate around until it runs into another arm. That has a pin going out to the arm that rotates around until it hits another arm. That goes down to another arm that has a pin coming out that rotates around until you hit another arm. Bicep swivel, bicep swivel, bicep swivel. Double elbow all the way. Double elbow all the way. Double elbow all the way. Hinge and swivel at the wrist. Hinge and swivel at the wrist. Hinge and swivel at the wrist. Do you want me to do the left side? Dumbbell joint mid-torso, does a little crunch. Not a lot of arc back. There's this hunch that gets in the way. Tilt until it hits the arms. Rotation. Ball at the hip. Kicks forward. Kicks back. Kicks out. Not as good as some Spider-Mans. Swivel at the thigh. Double knee. Oh, we have our first. Thwip. Cut at the boot. Hinge at the ankle. Goes back. Goes forward really far. Front-facing pin for rocker. For accessories out of the package, there is a fist and a wall-crawling hand, a wall-crawling hand, a fist, and a fist. Then it comes with 2 more wall-crawling hands, which is handy because it adds to the kind of creep factor. So I'm going to put that one here, maybe the other one in the middle, kind of change it up a bit. This was my favorite, but there's also something sinister about an alternate head with eyes not as big. And since he's got 6 arms showing, it's not like he's trying to hide it, that he's not the actual Spider-Man. I'm pushing, go on. The camera strength. I kind of like that. It makes it feel more villain-like. And, ugh. That one sticking down isn't working, is it? It's too, okay, how about forward? And then have this one, oh, so that's not, yeah, kind of like that. Okay. That works a bit better. You're definitely not going to get as crunchy as some Spider-Mans in Legends, but it's not meant to be. It's meant to be this. Or maybe this crawling along. Werewolf by Night. why not? And even the artwork has open screaming mouth. And the same thing on the back. And then a little story. And yep, it's Werewolf by Night. Now, without laying hands upon it, it's got the look, it's got the fur, it's got the wolfy type head, it's got the green pants that calls back to a more classic rendition of this character. Got a little knee showing, the rips at the bottom of the feet, the claws to both those and the hands. On paper, this should work, but in hand, it's just kind of like, oh, okay. There are some things I like. The eyes peering out all yellow with some shading around them, and then some extra work to the lower fur, the beard, I guess, and then in the hair, just to bring out the detail. But that's not really done on the back. It stops. In fact, you can kind of see the line. Looks kind of like there's a wash to the torso, and back here on the hair hanging off the forearm. Black fingernails, black toenails to kind of separate those. There is some silver to the belt buckle, the black belt. I just wish there was a little paint in other places, like here at the knee. I get what they were going for, but it's just shaped like the articulation, so it's jarring. But you get up close and you can see that there is some shredded pants around it. I wish that was like a lighter green just to help that stand out a bit. To sell the effect on these pinless pants. I do believe the legs and the crotch are new. The pins in the arms are dead giveaways that those are reuse. And turns out, so is the torso and the feet. Those are reuse from Jackal, which came out years and years and years ago. I don't have that anymore. I customized it into a Perez Beast, but there is the feet. There's the same shoulders with the hair sculpt, bicep, the tufts of hair on the back, even the hands. And same with the torso, the little extra hair running up the middle, first sculpt to the pecs and abs. It was neat at the time that they cut the elbow articulation up into the bicep because it gives it more range. And back then, that was very appreciated. But there's been updates to articulation since then that doesn't leave a hollow right there. The shoulders are set a little forward, and there is a hunch to the back, and if it was anybody else, I would gripe about that. But I kinda like it for a werewolf character. It makes it look a bit more savage. Like it's supposed to be hunched over a little, and arms down in the hunt. But then there's how some of the other points of articulation works. There is a big old detent here, which, okay, you can stop in positions. The shoulders also have heavy detents, but I've moved them around enough that they aren't as bad as they were. At first it was... I do like the legs though. The feet are kind of just there. In fact, everything is just kind of there. It works for what it's supposed to be, but it could be so much more. Especially with the wide open screaming head, or howling head, I guess. I get it, there's fangs, there's a tongue, and it does work for what it's supposed to be. But it being the only option, that sucks. Because the head pops off easy enough, and articulation-wise, there is a ball with a hinge underneath. Can look up a bit. The hair hanging down back here gets in the way, and then the open mouth keeps it from going down further than that. Not much tilt. Left, right. Pin coming out of the shoulder rotates around. There's a hinge that goes to there. Bicep swivel, like we looked at. Double elbow comes all the way up. Swivel at the wrist with a hinge in and out. Crunchticles to here and back that far. Cut at the waist, turns. Ball coming out to the hip, kicks forward, kind of goes out as you come up, back, out, swivel at the thigh, double knee, hinge at the ankle, goes back, forward, front facing pin for rocker. For accessories, there are 2 clawed hands and a whole lot of nothing. And that's a damn shame because again, if there was nothing else, we could have at least gotten a closed mouth, just to spice things up a little. Give us some options. Let's go into the past and find out what's up with this World War II Wolverine. Lots of W's in this wave. Oops. W's. You know, standard military issue claws. Oops, we have the same picture on the back, along with what's going on with this Logan. And after getting this open, I realized this is the most involved figure of the wave. Well, I guess besides Executioner, who is an all-new sculpt. This is also an all-new sculpt, but it comes with more accessories. So as far as regular figures go, this takes the cake. Because everything looks great. At first I thought maybe the arms could be reused because they're just baggy sleeves, but then the cuff Or, well, that's not a cuff. That's another shirt sticking out from under the jacket, and then these buttons on the back make it very unique. These straps coming up and over the shoulders, onto the front, the pouches on the belt, the buckles that are painted. Ooh. The soft lower jacket coming down over the crotch piece, pouches on the thighs, bagginess coming down to spats. And we have never had a Wolverine with this exact look. So, again, all new sculpt, even the head. The helmet is glued down to it, and again, screaming head, but here we have an option, so it doesn't bug me near as much. Especially since it looks good. He's on the battlefield, running into the thick of it. Ding, 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 ding. Just notice the extra detail running up the side there. They got the brown boots poking out at the bottom. Knife sheath on the left side that has a sculpted on strap around the ankle. A little more dark gray in the middle of the belt there, but now that we're this close, oh, the buttons on the pouches could have been painted too. Nice tampo on the left shoulder that is early shield, I think. White t-shirt poking out from under the jacket. Got some brown paint on the helmet too that goes around to here, and then the strap hanging down. A lot of work put into this, a lot of new. And yes, again, I realize it's Wolverine, so they're gonna throw that extra effort at it, but it always catches me off guard because this can't be reused for anything else. This is the same size as all the other recent Wolverines we've gotten, which is appropriately shorter than your average Marvel Legends. I'd love to have an updated classic type Captain America, give him the triangle shield, maybe a jacket or something. I don't know. I need more of this era. If I have this, I want stuff to go with it. Wait a second. How about this? That looks really good. Do you want a cigar, Logan? No! Articulation, there is a dumbbell joint at the top of the neck with a... Wait, is it a ball underneath, or is it just kind of shifting on the mount? No, it's a ball. In fact, the neck is turned a little bit without me knowing it. There is some movement to it, not as bad as Iron Man. Nice tilt. Left, right. Pin coming out of the shoulder, rotates around, hinge goes up to there. Swivel at the bicep, double elbow, that should, yeah, goes all the way up. Swivel at the wrist, hinge up and down on a trigger finger hand. Ab crunch. Well, okay, it kind of goes behind the belt. It goes further than I thought when I first looked at it, because the belt does not float up and down. It's mounted right there. Arc back and, oh, okay. There's a cut that was fairly nicely hidden under the belt. This is soft for the ball going out to the hip to kick this far, back, out. Swivel at the thigh. Double knee. Oh, so close. Snicked. Swivel at the boot. Hinge at the ankle. Goes back. Goes forward. Front-facing pin for rocker. For accessories, there is a trigger finger right hand and a open left. There's a left fist. And then a pair of fists with claws mounted on with some wraps. Before we go swapping, I am going to put the gun in his hand. I'm not sure if this is new or not, but it looks good. It works for what it needs to do. Then there's this knife, which I do think is reuse. I think we've seen this several times. That goes into the sheath down on the leg. There is this satchel that, oh, is this the old Green Goblin one? I don't have any of the goblins out here. All geared up and nowhere to go. And still screaming. That's okay. There is a non-screaming head, a neutral look that is just burning a hole in you. Look at this handsome devil. He's got the trademark chops, but skews away from the iconic hairstyle. And again, I'm not sure if this is based on any one thing, but oh, I think I'm in love. I wish the helmet came off this head so he could hold it for this look, because he's in town for the weekend, looking to meet new people. Does it seem kind of small though, given the thickness of the body? I don't know. It's just one of those things. I like it, but it also doesn't seem to match the rest of the body. I've gotten too used to seeing the helmet up here. Let's giddy up with some Phantom Rider. Is he wearing some shorty shorts on top of his ghostly spandex costume? Oh, are they teasing us here with a steed for Carter? And then the more you know. Whew, I cannot remember the last time I looked at a figure with this much bright white on it. But it's Phantom Rider, so it had to be done. Well, okay, check out the eyes. I love the shade work around them. If that wasn't there, it would just be white on white, and you wouldn't be able to see it at all. I love that they did that. I kind of wish that we saw some of that with the rest of the body. Maybe not that dark, but at least some kind of gray in the musculature just to kind of make that pop too. Down in the wrinkle of the boots, maybe up here on the gun rig. Now there is a little silver in places. The buckle, the studs, and I'm not sure anything on the holster. No, the studs are painted all the way around. So there is silver and a little bit of black. Otherwise, this is Vulcan in white plastic, which works. I forgot to point out the glove tops. That's a good thing about there being a cut on the Vulcan forearm. You can swap things out here like that. Cowboy hat up on top. At first I thought, man, I wish that was removable. That would be cool. But then I realized it would just be a featureless head. So the hat staying on where I won't lose it. The carpet monster won't grab it, even though it should be easy to see. And I think if it had been removable, they would have tried to make it wide or be able to fit down snap-on something. So, hey, this works. It doesn't look like it's out of place or anything. Plus, if you get the brim just right, oh, I'm your Huckleberry. And there's the cape. And for the most part, if you're standing in neutral position, it looks good. Very handbookish. And there is some wrinkle sculpt to it hanging down in the front. Kind of a hood for some reason. I'm not sure why that's there. And then flowing just down, all in white. So it cuts a very Phantom Rider silhouette. But you go to do anything else, and it's just a slab of plastic on the back. It's a hard candy shell. And that'll come into play someday if we do eventually get a horse for them. Hasbro has hinted at that. Or a horse of some kind, because it could be used by several different characters in the Marvel Universe. And if Phantom Rider doesn't have a ride, he's just Phantom, stander, around her. Also looking at the belt and the holsters and the glove tops and the boots, it kind of makes me hope for future Marvel cowboy types. I mean, there's not a whole hell of a lot that's relevant these days, but going back to the classic times, I have no problem with that. Oh, out of the package, the pin for the cape was, well, I just pulled it out, showing you. Now, if you leave it out, it wants to push the cape slightly back and then the front slightly down, which doesn't look bad at all. But getting it pinned in is not the easiest task. You got to kind of force it down into there, plug it in, and that makes it more secure, but that does also cause it to gap up in the front because it's stuck in place. So it doesn't look terrible, but whatever you want to do. Either way, it is going to get in the way of articulation. Up at the top of the head, there is a ball with a hinge underneath. Can look way up and way down. Slight bit of tilt, left, right. Howdy. Butterfly joint. But the goddamn cape gets in the way from you grabbing it. There it is, popped it out. But can go back, can go forward, pin going out to the shoulder, rotates around, hinge goes up to there, swivel at the bicep, double elbow, all the way up, swivel at the wrist with a hinge up and down on a trigger finger hand. It's Phantom Rider. It needed to be done. Crunchticulars go way forward and then way back. Swivel at the waist, hidden behind the belt. Ball coming out to the hip, kicks forward and back and out. Cut at the thigh. Double knee. Oh, yeah. Swivel at the boot. Hinge at the ankle, goes back, goes forward. Front facing pin for rocker. For accessories out of the package, he comes with 2 root and toot and trigger finger hands. There are 2 fists, and then there is this open left hand, which looks familiar. Oh yeah, we just saw it on Wolverine. So there is a little reuse here. But I'm leaving the trigger fingers in because he's got to be able to shoot his pistols. He's got to go heels. He's got to skin those smoke wagons. Do some pushing and twisting. That looks good. But if you don't want them in a showdown, they also fit in the holsters. Just figure something out. If you have the shoulders in normal or forward position, the cape does gap up in the front when you got it pegged back here. But if you push the arms back, it helps bring the cape down and kind of gives them a more broad look. Maybe I just like cowboys, but there's also something about this ghostly color scheme. Oop, the belt kind of riding up, so... And of course that means we're going to finish up the standard figures in this wave with Enchantress. Not quite sure I like this artwork. The head seems large, maybe? I like the costume though. This is more my Amora. And then, doo-doo. Okay, definitely an upgrade. I am not gonna argue that at all, but not as much of an upgrade as I was hoping. There's still a couple of things that kind of annoy me, but there is a lot to love here. The first thing that catches my eye is the skin tone. It is far and away better than the original Enchantress. The tan look is not bad at all, but there's something to be said here, especially with the blonde hair. And that is also a nicer, brighter color with a wash to bring out all that sculpted detail. Do I need to point out how much more hair there is? It's so full and bouncy and godlike, I guess. I am not sure that the face isn't reuse, because there's the smirk and the raised eyebrow. It's just painted a whole hell of a lot nicer. And hell, is the headdress also the same? It's pretty dang close. The skirt pieces are very, very similar, but there's enough differences to tell that the new one is not reuse of the old one. The new belt is slightly thicker, and then the cuts between the tassels hanging down is different and shaped to be more angled in the front. The old one's just kind of straight across. The new one tapers down. I also think the upper torso is the same. It's got that seam line running on the front here and here, which matches here and here, but then the torso underneath has matching lines that come down. So I don't know if that's from somebody else or if that is new for this figure. Same thing goes for the metal banding on the arms. I love that metallic look, and that the lines are actually sculpted this time around instead of just being paint. Also notice the pinless double elbows. Same thing for the legs, double pinless, which makes it much more stable. This Enchantress has been standing in my display for a long time, and she started to do that lean over to one side because the knee's giving out. I don't have near that fear with these because of how much more sturdy they are, or at least what we've seen so far with a lot of characters using these legs. But we do have those super high heel thin feet that don't give us a very secure base to stand on. But because of the more stable legs and body itself, it's not as hard to stand up. Of course, the hair is a little weighty. It's gonna tip forward or back, but you get straight up and down. It's not bad. You get right there. And we can't forget the figure eights going down the legs. I like that the paint is the same metallic green as the belt. It kind of ties it together, color coordinated. And then of course there's the hands. We've seen these hands for years and years and years and years with magic or power users, or just regular everyday people. These hands have been used a lot. Now that's all fine and dandy. That's good. Hey, come here. It makes for a nice Enchantress, but that much hair hanging down over the shoulders with a ball at the top and nothing else, the head doesn't get a lot of movement. There is this and down and up. That's as far as it goes. And a lot of times when I arc the back, she can't look forward because I can't get the head to actually go that way. It usually tilts back because of the weight of the hair. But my big annoyance is the skirt not being glued down. Now, if it was glued down, it would get in the way. Well, actually, let's test that out. I'm going to push down as far as possible and then raise the leg. And yes, it would hold the leg back. But I'm also not going to have Enchantress doing any high kicks. So I may end up gluing it down because every time I turn around, this thing is riding up or off to the side. It's just, hey, I'm going to do whatever I want. In fact, I may put a little cut in the belt on the back so I can open up the top and try to get this down as far as possible. I would like to see it maybe right here. Oh, actually, now that I've pushed it down that far, it's kind of jammed in position. Do I want to leave it there? Yes, I do. But those are nitpicks. Again, I could glue that down. I could, what can I do to make the neck move more? Oh, wait a second. What is this? The headdress is off the face on this side, down on it over here. Is it glued in? No, it's just pegged in at the forehead, I think. So maybe I'll heat that up, try to get that to lay down. Articulation, like I showed, there is just a ball joint up at the top. Makes me realize that yes, this is probably an old torso, but not a lot of up, not a lot of down. There is a bit of tilt left, right, if you get the hair up over the shoulders. Speaking of that, there's a pin going out to the arm, rotates around with a hinge that goes up to there. Swivel at the bicep, double elbow. Oh, it was stuck there for a second. Goes all the way. Swivel at the wrist with a hinge in and out. Dumbbell joint mid-torso, crunches, arcs back, tilt, tilt, rotation. Ball coming out to the hip, kicks forward, kicks back, kicks out to about right there. Swivel at the thigh, that should be hidden by the skirt, but it doesn't go down that far. Double knee, oh, all the way. Hinge at the ankle goes way back, forward, front-facing pin for rocker, but it doesn't go front, it goes down, so it's more of a twist. For accessories, we looked at the magic wielding hands. There's also 2 fists, but I'm going to use the flared out hands because I want to use this magic effect. It's new, it should be appreciated, and I'm going to put it in the display. I like how it fades from a lighter green out to darker green. Well, hello there. Same setup as all the other magic effects though. You take the hand off, you clip this over the wrist or slide it up the arm, put the hand back in. I like it. Probably because it's different than everything we've been getting over the years. But there's nothing wrong with that. I will say that 2 would have been appreciated even more, because there's 2 magic wielding hands. The Coupe de Gracie is the Executioner Build-A-Figure though, so we're gonna put that together, which goes here. Wait a second, there's still a gap. It's not quite together yet. Oh, mostly because my dumbass, after thinking about it even, put the right on the left. And I'm guessing the pegs are slightly different to show that you have it on the wrong side. The left leg's connected to the left side. Left hand, are we sure? This time, going in, okay. Little tough, but not bad. Plug that in. And then of course, the cranium goes on the top. And that is just a tough looking bastard in a lot of my favorite colors. There's the blue undershirt, and at first I thought, well, there's a lot of texture to the sleeve. Why isn't that on the body? It is. It's just slightly less prominent, I'm guessing because of the plastic. But once you see it, you realize, yes, that does match. The blue continues down to the gloves with the straps on the back and the silver discs. The blue boots with the black design work going around it. It's not really straps, it's indented. And then there is some gray fur at the top. Then there's the crotch cover piece that is supposed to be like leather strips hanging down. I can't remember the exact name. But here, it's of course plastic. The front piece is 5 put together. Then there's segments going around. There's 2 pairs, then there's 3 together. The back, split, split, split. That's to allow for movement of the legs. This side is kind of funky. It's got a bend to it right here, while the rest are fairly flat, laying straight down. I may try to heat that in a bit and see if I can get it to match the rest of them. Not that it looks bad, it's just something I noticed, because what actually catches my eye is the extra paintwork there. These kind of shadows going down, accentuating those straps. And then of course the silver studs. But unfortunately that doesn't continue around to the back. In fact, it gets pretty noticeable at the side. And you're like, wait, where'd the paint go? What? Black chest plate with some straps going up and over with silver studs there. See the motif? Oh, silver studs around there. And down on the glove, and then down here. And then I love the purple axe. It's just throwing another color into the scheme. I also like the matte blackness to make it feel like metal, maybe. Although it does match the leather strap with the cloth back here. And then you get down to the leggings and it's a bit shinier black. So it doesn't quite match up top to bottom, but again, I think that's the different plastics coming into play. The head sculpt and paint though, ooh. This is a barbaric bastard. The hairstyle is definitely a choice. Or tattoo? No, that's raised. So, few can pull that off, but Skurge is one of them. I also like how the black line work around the eyes fades underneath. It adds something to it. Then the black goatee with the 2 little points sticking down, the lip color, the blue eyes poking out from within the darkness. Yeah, this is a good overall look. It's tough. It's powerful. It works for this character. And even though from a distance it resembles the Amazon exclusive Crossbones with the short sleeves and such, not even close size-wise. This is just bigger and bulkier, but not as big as Scar, who has height and width on him. Articulation, there is a ball joint at the top of the neck on a hinge, so can look up, down. Not a lot of tilt. Left, right. Pin out to the shoulder, rotates around with a hinge that goes up to there. There's a pin going from the shoulder to the elbow with a bicep cover. That means the hinge and swivel at the elbow does most of the work. Comes up 90, which is surprising for a character this big, and then in and out. If you go out this way, you can turn the bicep to match. Swivel at the wrist with a up and down hinge for a weapon wielding hand. In fact, look at that. Dumbbell joint mid-torso, crunches, not bad. Arcs back, tilt, rotation. Ball coming out to the hip, kicks that far because this piece gets out of the way. Little back, out. Oh, not shabby. Swivel at the thigh, nicely hidden by this cover. Double knee. Oh, fur gets in the way, but that's pretty good. I expected a swivel at the boot for some reason. The fur is a separate piece, but no. Hinge at the ankle, goes back, goes forward. Front-facing pin for rocker. For accessories, after you get him built, he has a grip right hand and a fist left. Then there is a relaxed right and a spread out left. Let's see. Oh, that's pretty easy. Then straight in with the other one. I'm leaving the grip hand in because he also comes with this humongous axe. Some stud work on the pommel. Is it called a pommel on an axe? Either way, there's wrapped leather on the grip and then double-bladed axe head. Got some rivets in the middle, some dark gray, some silver, and then nicks and dings from battle. Not the softest fingers, but shouldn't be a problem getting... Nah. Slips right in and works really, really well with the figure. The joints are nice and tight, no problem holding up the axe, and it's posable enough to be caught mid-swing or just standing around like a badass. I do wish there was a left grip hand. Since there's this much handle to it, that would have been better posing. Oh, there's that too. Just tell me what to do. I'll go out and do it. Okay, here is everybody side by side, and not bad relative scale. Iron Man stands at about 6 5/8. Warbow is about 6 1/4. Dark Avenger Spider-Man is 6 1/8, and about the same for Wolverine. I guess it's the helmet. Then Werewolf by Night is about 6 7/16. Phantom Rider is about 6 3/4 to the top of the hat, and Enchantress is about the same to the top of her hair. Executioner is about 7 5/8. For comparisons, here is Mark 72 with some other comic book Iron Mans that are more recent than my mind's eye version of Iron Man, which is something more like this and this. But I also have the hologram armor hanging around just because I like it so much, and it has some movie influence to it too. If you could see a damn thing against my blue background. It wasn't until this exact moment that I realized Warbow is slightly shorter than Crystar, and I don't know why, since most of their bodies are shared. And Warbow is also leaning to the left. And then Radioactive Man is just here for my own amusement because of translucent greens. Here's Dark Avenger Spider-Man next to a couple of black and white suit Spider-Mans. I think this is Retro Card, and then this is Secret Wars. But here he is with some Dark Avengers, and it looks pretty good. I'm getting this deep, I might as well get the rest of the members right. Finish my Sentry custom, go get Marvel Boy, was that his name during this? Go back and find a proper darker Hawkeye, or Hasbro. Yeah. Dig out my Ares. For Werewolf by Night, of course, I'm going to put him next to my Man-Thing, and then here is the Jada Toys Werewolf. Well, I don't know. Now that I have this Logan next to other Wolverines, maybe it is slightly taller than the rest. You don't know until you put them flat on the ground. But here is Secret Wars, and then Civilian Wolverine. That came with Sabretooth, I think. But he's still Wolverine-sized next to the 2-pack Nick Fury and the Secret Wars Captain America. Since I'm pulling Phantom Rider out next, and Nick Fury was still standing here, I realized that the boots are reuse. So, if you've already commented that, I'm sorry. Here he is next to some Spirits of Vengeance. There's Johnny Blaze and Helverine, but I know him more from his arc in West Coast Avengers. So here he is with Mockingbird and Hawkeye, whose bow I lost. I thought it'd be the arrow I would lose first, but nope. And yeah, I know that was Lincoln Slade, and then later it was Hamilton possessed by Lincoln, and also Carter, but the point is, all of their costumes are very, very similar. And then here's Skurge and Amora with the 20th anniversary Thor, 80th anniversary Thor. I don't know, this came out a while ago, and it makes me think we need an updated Thor. In fact, the knees are bowing out. It may be the extra weight from the custom cloth cape, but it's not that heavy. Here's the old Enchantress thrown into the mix just to show that they're about the same size. And then for giggles, here's the Executioner with the recent Juggernaut and the older Nimrod that I only have out here to do some customizing because the new one's on the way. Speaking of customizing, I don't have a lot of Playdate action in mind for this wave, but I do have a few ideas. Like taking the alternate Jada Toys werewolf head and trying it here because, again, man, I get it, but I would have loved to have another option. Well, it kind of snaps on, and the colors, well, no, not quite. It's a little darker, and then I feel like it may be slightly small, but it's not terrible. It kind of makes him feel bulkier in the chest. Ooh, but getting closer, yeah, that is a darker brown, isn't it? Or it's just got more wash to the head, more paint apps. And there's not much difference in the size of those. For Wolverine, it's just some head swaps. He's got the helmeted head. He's got the going on stage head. So maybe try out some of the many other Wolverine heads. Did they put a different head ball on there? I guess the test would be to try this head on others. And actually, that fits. Look at that rugged bastard. I'm the best at what I do. And what I do is male model. Like the World War II body, it does seem a little small. Let's try this head on here. Maybe it's this head is a different size. Let's try this head. That one goes on there, so that should go on here. I can't even remember where this one came from, but again, seems a little small. Maybe my eyes are just adjusted for the helmet look. No, actually that face is quite a bit bigger. Yeehaw, bub. Okay, a little bit more push and got it on there, and that's not bad. I can't help putting my claws through you. Mother, tell your children not to claw my way. For Enchantress, you know what my big nitpick was. This going up and down. And I did some fixing on camera, and then my memory card failed. What I essentially did was cut a little slice out of the back of the belt. And doing that, I can still take it up and out of the way of the legs, but when I push it down, it seems to want to pinch on the hips. It actually does a pretty good job of staying in place even when I lift the leg. I'm not gonna glue it for now and see how it works out, but I definitely like the proportions overall. It balances everything out, I think. I looked over at Executioner and thought, nah, he doesn't need any Playday action. Then I remembered, oh, these bent crotch cover flaps. So let's break out the handy dandy heat gun. Yeah, it flattened this one out a bit because it was definitely bent. It was probably sitting like that in the package or something. And this one, is this under this side or is that out? If I take this and flap it up a bit, that's still sticking out slightly, but if I do that, it holds it down. And it does look better. It looks like the rest of them now. But this was the biggie, getting a horse for Phantom Rider. And for now, I've landed on the Four Horsemen Mythic Legions horse, or well, one of them. I'll have the link to it down in the description. It does seem a little big, but I was already ordering it for Mythic Legions, so I thought, hey, I'll throw it under Carter for now and see how this turns out. Carbon Scoring actually has a better option over on his channel. It's one of the Toy Biz Lord of the Rings horses, and it's smaller than this. It looks better overall, but I didn't have a chance to order one before making this video. I also got one of the fish toys to try out, and while it's about the same size in a lot of places, the hooves make it look huge. That and the real hair and the more realistic paint job overall kind of threw it out of Marvel Legends realm. I'll have to find another place for this, which probably won't be a problem. For now, like I said, slightly large, but it also depends on the kind of horse somebody's riding. And Hasbro's teased their own horse. I'm not too worried about it. I just wanted to see what options are out there. And there are more horses. This is not the only choices. There are a lot out there, but I only have so much money to spend. But cherry on top, I added a soft goods cape. This is the Rebel 10 Customs Moon Knight cape that I actually had on a Moon Knight for a long time, but then I swapped them out. I got another one, and this was just laying around. So Phantom Rider showing up and being all white like this kind of worked perfectly for my unplanned plans. This is my Phantom Rider for now. I'm pretty happy until I start messing with it more and check out other horses and break out paints. You know the drill. So at the end of the day, what's great is great, and then what's not so great is not so great. What I think it really comes down to, for me at least, is that I wasn't super invested in half of these characters. They turned out okay, but they're not near and dear. They're not going to have special places in the display. It means it wasn't an X-Men wave, which I've been cutting back on. I have been passing on Marvel Legends every now and then, but like I said way at the first, dang Build-A-Figure. I needed Executioner, and he turned out fantastic. And even Enchantress, with her annoyances, is an upgrade from the previous figure. And then Phantom Rider actually turned out to be one of my favorite figures of the wave. Sure gotta change out the cape, and a horse is a problem. It's like Ghost Riders with no motorcycles. Wait, we've had those, haven't we? But you know what I mean. Wolverine getting as many new parts as he did should not be a surprise because it's Wolverine. So there is that. I ended up liking him more than I thought I would. And I guess you could say the same about Dark Avengers Spider-Man. Or I am just a sucker for the black and white costume, no matter how many arms the character has. Warbow as a companion for Crystar is pretty damn sweet. That whole translucent plastic gimmick. Werewolf by Night is the disappointment of the wave. Because like I said, we've needed a good one for a long time. This ain't it. Maybe they threw this out with its reuse and shortcomings in preparation for a live action one, the Disney Plus version, to go along with that man thing. And hey, if it's good, I will happily replace this one with that. Hasbro? Mm-hmm. And then this Iron Man, I don't really have a use for it. It's going to go in the bin with the rest of them. I did come around on the color scheme, but it's not enough to save it. It's not enough for me to display it somewhere. But that's just what you got to do sometimes in order to get the Build-A-Figure you want. It's just how that game is played. Some people would like to see it go away. Some people like the extra value they see added to the wave. So back and forth. But they have been producing less Build-A-Figure waves. More deluxes, more single releases, more exclusives, more retro cards, mini comics, other ways to get single figures out there. I was going to say that characters worthy of Build-A-Figure are getting to be slim pickings, but we all have our beloved Z-listers too. And Hasbro's in the business of making money. They can't just throw out every Tom, Dick, and Harry from the comics and just hope that it sells. We get our deep dives, but they're usually within the confines of other characters that will sell. Your Iron Mans, your Captain Americas, your Wolverines. So I don't feel slapped in the face because I had to buy a couple of characters in order to get another one. But at the same time, some of these characters, some of these figures will go in bins, and then maybe a couple of years on, I'll find a use for it. Tear it apart. Oh, that head, that body, those feet will go to something else. But that's the way I collect. Oh, plus I'm not an angry guy. You know me. Bye.